Welcome to the new video of my channel, and in this video I will be discussing the types of export. So we can divide the methods of exports broadly into two, that is direct export and indirect export. So the direct export is also called manufacturer export and indirect export is also called merchant export. So in direct selling or manufacturer exporting, what we will be do is the manufacturer will be exporting his goods to abroad without relying on any intermediary. So he will be exporting the goods directly to foreign buyers. And in merchant exporting or indirect selling, there will be an intermediary who will be helping us to do all the export. He will be the person who is responsible to export our product to abroad. What we will be doing as a manufacturer in merchant exporting is that we will be selling or we will be sending the goods to this export intermediary or merchant exporter, and he will be finding the customers for our product abroad, and he will be selling or sending our product to those customers in abroad, and he will be collecting the money from abroad. So that's how merchant export or indirect exporting work. So how will you decide whether you have to go to direct exporting or indirect exporting? And it depends on various factors. The first factor that will decide whether you have to go for direct exporting or indirect exporting is the size of the firm. Let's say your business firm has a large size and you have enough financial resources, you have enough managerial competencies, then definitely you can go for direct exporting, because with that financial resources you can hire people who have experience in export, and they will be helping you to do all the export procedures, and you can do the direct exporting. But let's say your firm is a small firm, then you won't be having enough financial resources to do all the export formalities, to find customers abroad, to establish marketing channels abroad. If that is the case for your business, then definitely you can rely on some indirect exporting or exporters, and they will be exporting your products in their name to all over the world. And you don't have to know anything about the export. All you have to do is just sell the products to these indirect exporters, and they will be selling your products abroad. Another factor that determines whether you can choose direct exporting or indirect exporting is the nature of the products. For some products, it is better to use direct exporting, and for others, it is better to have indirect exporting. The next factor is previous export experience and expertise. Let's say your business or you have enough export experience, then definitely you can do the direct exporting. You don't have to rely on any intermediary. You can have all the profit that you can have from direct exporting rather than indirect exporting. And if you don't have the export experience, then definitely you can go for indirect exporting. Another important factor that determines whether we have to go for direct exporting or indirect exporting is the business condition in the selected overseas market. In some countries, if you want to export to those countries, there is already law, there is already regulation that you can export to that country only with the help of an intermediary, or only with the help of a citizen, or only with the help of a company that is already there in that country. So in that case, if you want to export your product to such a country, then definitely you will have to rely on some intermediaries for exporting your product to that country, which means that you have to go for indirect exporting in that case. In merchant exporter or indirect selling, what the merchant exporter will do is that he will collect the products or goods from the manufacturer, and he will be selling these goods to the foreign market. So the all the expertise of this manufacture merchant exporter is on finding customers all around the world and selling or shipping these goods to all around the world and collecting the payment for these goods and services. The benefit of merchant exporter is that he doesn't have to own any manufacturing unit or factory anywhere in the world. So all he have to do is that he have to collect the goods from the manufacturer, and he can repack it, he can label it, and he can sell these products or ship these products to all over the world where his customers are residing. And in manufacturer exporter or direct exporting, what the manufacturer will do is that he will be collecting the raw materials for his goods from different parts of the world, and he will be processing these raw materials and will be making goods, and he will be exporting these products to all over the foreign market. Now let's see the difference between manufacturer exporter and merchant exporter. The first one is meaning. So manufacturing exporter is the person who exports the goods manufactured by him. So manufacturing exporter is the person who creates the goods, and he is the person who export that product to all over the world. So he is not relying on any intermediary. He is producing the goods for his company by himself, and he is exporting that product or good to all around the world, which means that he is self-reliant. And in merchant exporter, he is a person who exports the goods manufactured by others. So he is relying on some other manufacturers who is producing the goods for him. So what he will do, he will be collecting these goods produced by other manufacturers, and he will be packing it and shipping to all around the world. The next point is delivery schedule. Since the manufacturing exporter is the person himself produce the goods, he doesn't have to rely on any other person to get his goods. So he can export the products whenever he wants. So he doesn't have to rely on the product to arrive. So manufacturing exporter can export goods based on time schedule. And coming to the merchant exporter, the merchant exporter, since he is not producing the goods, since he is relying on other exporters to collect his goods, if some exporter is delaying to send the product to this merchant exporter, then he will not be able to send the product or good on time. So the merchant exporter depend on manufacturer to get goods to export. Now coming to the sampling, in manufacturing exporter, he can prepare the samples as per requirements. Since he is producing the goods, he can produce as many samples as he wants, and he can distribute these samples to all around the world. But coming to the merchant exporter, since he is relying on other manufacturer to get his samples, he won't be able to distribute samples as the manufacturing exporter is doing. Now coming to the modification of the products, since the manufacturing exporter is the one who is producing the goods, since he has a factory, since he has a manufacturing unit, since he has the qualified or skilled labor to produce the goods, if he want to change any part of the product, then definitely he can do that very easily, because all the resources he need to do that already he has it. So he doesn't have to uh, go to the market and find another skilled employee to do any modification. But coming to the merchant exporter, since he is depend on the manufacturer to get the product, if some changes are required for the product, then it will be a problem. One choice he has is he can go to the manufacturer who produce the goods to change the product, but definitely the cost of doing that will increase. Another choice is that he can find some good laborers, some good workshop where he can modify the product. But that can also be challenging, that will increase the cost of producing the goods. If the product needs to be modified, then it will be better to go with the manufacturing exporter or direct exporter. Now coming to the value addition, since the primary objective of this manufacturing exporter is to produce bulk amount of goods without much changes, without much value addition, there is less scope for value addition in manufacturing exporter. But coming to the merchant exporter, he has a large scope for value addition. Okay, he can pack the same product into different packages. For example, take the case of a scent. He can pack the scent in different bottles. Maybe some glass bottle, he can sell that glass bottle with the scent at a low price. He can even sell that same scent in some costly bottle with high price. So by changing the package, he can add the value of the product. Similarly, labeling, repacking, kit making, set making, etc. He can add the value of the product and he can sell the product at different rates. For example, maybe he can sell the same product as a premium product by changing the package, and he can sell the same product at a low cost with a low quality packaging also. So there are many ways through which he can achieve the value addition. Now coming to the varieties of goods, the manufacturing exports, since he is exporting his own goods, he won't be having much varieties of goods to export unless and until he is a big conglomerate like ITC. But coming to the merchant exporter, since he is exporting goods from different manufacturers, he can export wide varieties of products. All he have to do is he have to collect different goods from different manufacturers, and he can export all these goods to abroad. Now let's see the advantages of exporting through merchant exporters. Let's say your company is a small company with limited financial resources and limited managerial expertise. Then exporting your product directly to abroad will be a nightmare for you because you don't have the enough financial resources, because you doesn't have managerial resources to do all the export business. Then the best choice for you to start an export business is relying on some intermediary, some exporters who will be doing the export for you, which means that you have to rely on merchant exporters. All you have to do is you have to produce the goods and send to these merchant exporters, and they will be exporting these goods to abroad. Now, another benefit of relying on merchant exporters to do your export is that they will be taking care of all the risk. Maybe your business or your employees doesn't have enough skills to do the export business. Maybe they don't have the enough expertise to do the export business. But these merchant exporters, they do have enough skills, they do have enough expertise in doing exporting. So they will be taking care of all the risk. You don't have to worry about anything. They will be taking care of all the risk. One of the major advantage of exporting through merchant exporters is that you don't have to spend money on market research or setting branches abroad. But if you are going to do the direct exporting, then you have to spend much money on market research. You have to find the market through which you are going to start your export business have enough profitability. So for that you have to do market research. But if you are laying on merchant exporters, they will be doing all this market research. They will be finding the best place to export your products to. Maybe they will have already established branches all over the world. So it will be easy for you to use their branches to export your products and services to that instead of used figuring out how to establish branches in each and every country. So if you are laying on these merchant exporters, all these things will be done by merchant exporters. You know, this will be the market research will be done by these merchant exporters. The branches establishment, all these things will be done by carried by merchant exporters. Also, they will be arranging overseas buyers and they will be provide sales opportunity. Now, if you are doing the direct exporting, then definitely you will have to find the buyers for your product abroad. But if you are relying on these merchant exporters, they already know the probable buyers overseas and they will be providing you the sales opportunities. So you don't have to worry about the buyers whether we will be finding any buyers abroad. All these things will be taken care by merchant exporters. Major benefit of relying on these merchant exporters for you doing your export is that as a manufacturer, you can concentrate on your skill set. You can concentrate on your production and you don't have to bother about the export formalities and all the headaches associated with the export. So you can do the production of your product and the merchant exporters will be doing the export. So there is nothing to worry. Also, another major advantage of exporting through these merchant exporters or indirect exporting is that export entry through merchant exporters is very easy and less costly. As I already said, if we are starting an export business directly, then we need to find buyers for our product. Then we need to do the market research. We need to find the best market to export our product to, and we need to establish our branches abroad. All these things will cost you lots of money. Export entry through merchant exporters is much easy compared to direct exporting, and it is also cheap. So that's all about this video. Thank you.